Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM21. It's career mode, and this is episode 138. We're in crunch time. We're less than 2 weeks away from the release of PCM22. I do not have my hands on it just yet, but hopefully I will have my hands on it soon. I don't know how soon I'll be able to get content out for it. If you know what sort of limitations they're going to place on me on that one for this year. But anyway, I'm very much looking forward to it, but with just a couple weeks to go, that means we've got, 5-6 episodes to go. So we're going to jump into La Vuelta here in a moment. But first off, it is August the 1st. We have re-signed with Matrix PowerTag as well. Nobody stepped up to offer us anything that was unique, different, outside of the realm of the major nations. So one more year with them, but of course, the series is about to wrap up anyway. The La Vuelta is going to be just about it. So here is the signings for the year. No signing special this year, just a quick look at what there is. I still took the time, but with that one more year Matrix power tag, not a massive increase to what we had. We only had 59,000 and we have spent 57,000 of it. So there's only 2,000 to spare. And that's led to just 3 signings. One is the return of Ria Bovis for 20,000. One is the addition of sprinter Ayman Ramat from Malaysia, and Ramat is a 77.75 starting out, good on the flat. Very much needs that resistance to increase in time, but with good potential. And then Bogdan Savitsky. Not a great signing, to be honest. He is like a Sift C, but he is what we need, or what we would need theoretically, to maintain our status in the World Tour. Why? Because there was 3 guys that I really wanted to sign. Now, the first of those never even got a chance. It was way too many points just to put him on the dossier. And he's in the 0 to 15% interest range, and that is Benyam Gourmet. So the ultimate sprinter, unavailable to us entirely. 2 other guys that we keyed in on, dossiers on both, were Ferhat Karaman. And Ferhat, well, he wanted 110,000 starting price. And we barely got him out of that 15% threshold. He was at about 25% on wanting to sign with us. Now, of course, his rating is what it is because his recovery is so high. He's got a good mix of mountain and time trial, and we are going to be betting on him for La Vuelta. But honestly, he's massively overrated. He wants 110,000 starting. It probably would have taken 130 to sign him. We had a total of 59,000 to spend. He's asking 3 times what we could afford. He will not be coming back to the team. The other one that I really wanted more than Karaman and would have spent the money in an instant over the other 2, if available, was Berlikov. His contract is coming up, expiring with Santander. This was the time to maybe bring him back to the team and have our man come next season. You would assume that would mean 1 or 2 Grand Tour wins next year. That 83 mountain, that 83 hills, that 75 resistance, that 75 acceleration, that 79 downhill. Oh, do I love me some Alexei Berlikov. He was asking for a lot less than Karaman. But it was still 99,000 was his starting price. We probably would have gotten him back for about 110, 120, because he started in that 0 to 15 range, and my oh my did we bring it along, and we brought it up, but not enough. We got it up to about 70%, so there was no re-signing him. So what we got was Savitsky, a Barradour, who is a 79 overall for 27,000. We needed to sign him, but all we could afford was 3 guys. 5 or 6 outgoing. Well, minus one of those as Ryabovas is coming back. But this is what that roster looks like. So 2 79s with Savitsky and Bernotas. We have a quad of 78s, which very well could hopefully see one of them level up within the next 2 months. A couple of 77s who could potentially jump up as well in Sivsi and Isakov, and then everybody else is out of reach. Big handful of 76s, a few 73s, or 75s, and a few 73s that are the cheaper, affordable Northern Classics options for us. That is Galvez. Outgoing Galvez would have been the next guy to sign. Probably would have cost us maybe 5,000 or 6,000, but there was no re-signing him. So the team gets a little bit worse in the Northern Classics. But ultimately, the same team coming back. I mean, you know, see blue to yellow for next year. And we dropped from 5 to 4.5, but we still have that chance to regrow that, to develop that, to hang on. Should still be a World Tour team. We're 10th in the index at the moment, but it's definitely a slight notch below where the team was. But with development, you would think we would still be in good shape. And with development, this is how that team's looking and how I would be excited about next year, because Bernotas and Martin Guerrero are the only ones expiring. That's 30,000 coming off. You can probably re-sign Bernotas for about 30,000 unless he develops rapidly between now and next year, which he could, which could price him out of the team potentially. But you know, you don't have any other expirees. Sakaguchi, Igashin, Kikovchi, Berggren, that, you know, all the classics guys. You can re-sign them super cheap. You let Kikovchi and Igashin go because they are 25 and, you know, kind of capping out. They have not been developing kind of like the other guys. They'd be maybe 76s. You let Sakaguchi go unless he continues to develop and he takes over from Bernotas as one of your top sprinters. But everybody else is back. So this would be a team that would be continuing to ascend after next year. Next year, though, is, you know, for the second time in 3 years, a slight step backwards because of finances. And without the new sponsor coming in next year, you wouldn't see another huge step. So this is another team that continues to be a budget team, slowly growing, but ultimately struggling on the fringes of World Tour status. 2 riders less than what we had this year, going from 21 down to 19. Still just about making it as a team, easily handling 2 races at a time, struggling to handle 3 races on those occasions, but, you know, just about making it through that. Updates coming soon on where we're at with signings, because, you know, a couple weeks into August, it's been very active. But let's look at least the first handful of stages of La Vuelta. First, glancing at the back end, though, we'll look closely at the front end, is you have 4 mountain stages the final week. We have 2 mountain stages in the middle, and then the first week has just 1 mountain stage. That's 7 overall, 7 hill stages, 7 flat, 1 individual and 1 team time trial. The individual is stage 11. We open with a team time trial, 26 kilometers in length, definitely with some undulation along the way, but overall flat. Stage 2 is a mountain stage right off the bat with a decent 12K 5% climb. That's somewhere in between punchy and an actual mountain stage, but you would expect that the contenders, you know, won't be solo at the top, but you would think it would be a fairly small group, eliminating a lot of the riffraff from contention fairly early on. The next stage that's going to be interesting is stage 8, and that's the first solid climb, because that's 15K at 6.5%, much more than what you're getting on stage 2. Stage 10 is going to be pretty mega with 2 big climbs at the finish, and then stage 11 is that individual time trial with the climb through the middle of it, and it's 38 kilometers. That is super, super long, and a lot of descending on the back half of it. It's going to make it really interesting on how to manage just right. But by then, GC is going to be set. So with career mode, I'll have a lot of riders to get through to kind of pick out what the best strategy is by that point. 14, 15, just quickly looking at these ones, not really talking in detail as they're going to be pretty late on, and we really need to get to racing if we are going to get through this thing before the end of the cycle and the release of PCM22. Gonzalez Albiol already on his fitness peak. Isakov is probably going to begin his tomorrow, 99.6. Karaman should get it before the end of this race at 54.5 points right now. Martin Guerrero as well, but they will both probably be week 3 before that's triggered. Kikochi has no fitness, 57%. Everybody else is doing pretty dang well with theirs. But yeah, Kikochi has just come off of a major injury and has not done any racing yet. That should pick up pretty rapidly, but he'll be really poor in the first week. And we set off with stage number 1. We are about the 5th team to get things underway. So everybody is still just now getting their race going. So nobody's reached the first sector yet. And we are looking strong as a team for this one. I have all but 2 riders that are in good race day condition, really feeling it. A lot of anywhere between 77 to 80 for their time trialing. So that average is going to be really consistent. Kikochi and Sifsi are the ones that are going to have a little bit of trouble. And Kikochi, having just finished his first round, I'm probably going to just have him sit on the back and stay back there and let the others do the racing. Once Sifsi goes through a turn, I think I might do the same for him, peel him out of the way. In fact, let's just roll that down to 1 second so that he quickly goes to the back once he's up here. Petrov in front of him. You see Sifsi is struggling right now with our pace. That 88. Get him off the back and then go ahead and set him. So that'll mean Sifsi and Kikochi will hang back. Everybody else taking turns. Those two just try to hang on. Now, how are we doing on the yellow bar? Kikochi is a little bit below. Everybody else is handling things just fine. Petrov, Isakov. Yeah, 88's a good tempo for these guys for now. How are we looking? We were 4 seconds ahead at the first time check. I'm wondering if I could actually start bumping this up to an 89, which is about the limit for maintaining, but it gets risky. Really gets risky over distance. Short distance, you could do about 92 for like prologue style time trial. This is long enough, but we are halfway through, and I think we can go a little harder. Sifsi though. Kikochi, there you go. Go ahead and relay Kikochi, because you're falling off with Sifsi for no reason. Okay, let's put those two on 85 and relay. Let them get to the finish on their own, and that's everybody else. Kikochi trying to get back on here. We are passing a rider out on course. They might actually get back on yet. Approaching that second time check. I have 6 guys, so we're okay. We have 1 to spare, and those 2 were never going to really feature into what we're doing. But we are second now at that first time check. Apple has gone to the top. Petrov, what's your problem, Petrov? Petrov is trying. Okay, the 89 was a little too hard. Bump that down to an 88 again. Even that seems to be too much for them, which doesn't make sense. That's because they're still trying to trail the big group. Petrov just off the back, trying to get back on. Isakov is a little bit down low, but everybody else is hanging in there. And that means we have Isakov needs to drop to the back. We need Isakov to get to the end, 2.9. Second time check, let's check in on that one. We are comfortably on top, but Isakov barely making it right now, and he is that 5th man. He is that 5th man, so we've got to watch out on that. As we approach the line, 300 meters to go. Isakov will get there into the lead. so far, into the lead so far. Apple is 19 seconds behind at the second time check, and we are a minute ahead. So we've opened that gap by another about 12 seconds between the second and third time check, making it on through. So Apple's the one we got to watch out for. And EF. EF and Apple and Ineos. We don't have EF or Ineos yet at time check number 2. Let's wait until we get EF, and then we'll take a look at time check number 3 again. There is EF, 13 seconds down, but 6 seconds up on Apple. Apple comes in 40 seconds down at the finish, so we are looking good. We gained about 21 seconds on them over that last sector, being able to get that last little push hanging in there, not falling off. It was just barely with Isakov, but we made it work. Ineos 2 seconds down at the second time check, and EF is 17 seconds down at the finish. We are in the lead so far, but just 2 seconds ahead of Ineos, and that was, 11 seconds ahead of EF that they were. So will we hang on to this thing, or will Ineos, will their strength get them over the top? 2 seconds down on Ineos. You know what, though? That is ideal. That is perfect. That is perfect. We are in second place by 2 seconds. Here's why that is perfect. If we are 2 seconds up on Ineos, we have to protect the jersey. If we are 2 seconds down on Ineos and well up on pretty much everybody else, I mean, if you look at Delco, Cofidis, UAE, those guys are a minute back. We have 40 seconds on Apple. We have EF's a bit closer, but ideally, Decathlon is 4.5 minutes down. Israel Startup is 3. We have a minute to minute and a half gap over the bulk of the teams. That is ideal. That is absolutely ideal. DSM comes in at 47 seconds down. None of the teams are coming anywhere near us. And then there's Ineos 2 seconds ahead. They have to protect the jersey. They have to do the work. We are still the underdogs, but we're only 2 seconds down, and others are further back. So we've gained an advantage over virtually everybody, and we are just 2 seconds down on a team that's now going to have to waste some energy, tire themselves out a little bit. They have Ghana, Carapaz, Canto, Soler, Gegenhardt. Okay. So Carapaz, Soler, Gegenhardt are the ones to watch out for. Not their deepest field either. There is some strong, obviously Ghana in particular with his 85 could have single-handedly pulled that team 10, 15 of those kilometers at his max speed. Taking another look, and I just realized my camera's still on the bottom right corner. It's not bad for a time trial. It really just covers up the mini-map a little bit. Carapaz, 82 mountain, 73 on the individual time trial, which means he's going to lose time on stage 11. 71 resistance, 71 stamina. He is not the racer he was now that he's 34. He has lost a bit. Still good. Still an 81 overall. Will be a contender, but not that great. Young Canto is a 78 mountain, 80 time trial. He's awesome, and you can see why they won this time trial. I don't have any 80s. They've got Ghana at 85. They've got Canto at 80. This guy too, 76 mountain. Good support rider. I mean, he's a good one to bring. Soler at 33 is now just a 77 mountain, 75 time trial. So Gegenhardt with 80 mountain, 72 resistance, and Carapaz are the only real dangers. Gegenhardt is more balanced. His resistance is similar. His mountain is just below what Carapaz has, but his time trial is a lot better. But which one will it be? Carapaz is the better climber, but not as good on the time trial. Hard to say who their leader will end up being out of this. But for us, we're in good shape on that one. Simon Yates. So they have Simon Yates, who is now 35. He's 80 mountain, down to 70 on his time trial. Bernal is moving from Groupama FDJ to Trinity. Carapaz is moving from Ineos to Delco. Kung also. Foss to Groupama FDJ. Pogacar is extending. Bernal, we already mentioned. Berlikov extends, so he's staying with Santander, aka Movie Star. And Karaman has already quickly signed. He is with RTL, which is, of course, where Bernal was a couple seasons back. Bernal has moved very rapidly. I think he signed maybe just a 1-year deal, or was that a 2-year deal? But either way, he was with RTL before this. Now we are starting to hit the danger zone a little bit, and whether this team would be in World Tour next year. We are down to 16th in the index already. We might have to rely on somebody leveling up if the team were to stay put. Again, it's irrelevant as the series is going to come to an end, but the OCD in me really wants minor OCD, not diagnosed full-blown anything. I'm not obsessive compulsive to an extreme or anything, but I certainly have tendencies. Anyway, Lucas Hamilton is the only rider left who is an 81 plus, but we still have more than a handful of riders at 80. We have a large contingency of riders at 79 before you then get into a fully fledged out 78 group, meaning there are still a lot of riders. There's still 25 riders that are going to impact rosters and their top 3. We can't count on those 25 all signing with the top 15 teams. There is going to be some teams behind us that are going to sign 2 or 3 or 4 of these guys. So we are in risk right now with 279s and a bunch of 78s for next year's roster. And we have 17K left here on stage number 2. The breakaway is just now getting reeled in, and I am going to go sprint train on this one because, well, it's not that hefty of a climb. This is really a puncher's kind of stage, and I think we can set ourselves up for splitting the group up, getting it down to 50-40 riders and making a big push at the end, trying to attack, trying to sprint it out. So first off, Sifsi is out there. Kjakovci, who's going to have that negative a lot early on in this one, is going to make this initial push as the team is still kind of getting itself sorted here, but everybody else is in place. I've got Karaman with a couple guys behind him to offer him a little bit of protection before we get in here, keep him fresh, but we will drop him down the order as we get into fewer guys. But we have 11K to go, so Sifsi is going to make a bit of a push. Kjakovci is going to make a bit of a push to start stressing the field. The hardest part of the climb is these first kilometers, so I want to make sure that the tempo is fairly high. But you can see that red bar wise, it's doing absolutely nothing to anyone besides the front 2, and we're already down to 9.9K. So I'm going to push just a hair harder here with Sifsi, and then Kjakovci is going to take over. Ryabovas, we need to get his gel ready. Okay, 99 for him for a moment, 99, and then on to Kjakovci, and he can push at about a 90. You can see here is Carapaz, Ineos starting their strategy, leading out Bernal. Bernal is here. What the heck? I did not expect to see Bernal at this race. And those guys are all going early on. Van Sevenant, Paula. Wow. Attacking through the hardest part of the climb, though, so we're going to be able to accelerate here in just a moment. Push even harder to catch back up and not hurt Karaman, setting him up with 6K to go. That is the idea. That is the concept, and so far so good, as we're seeing another attack, another sprint. 4.8K, Ryabovas nearly done, and we will be on to Gonzalez Albiol, who is going to push pretty hard as well. Full-blown puncher on this one. 99 chasing 2, but we're in good shape for the final 3K, which is going to happen fast. So gel up for the remaining guys. Okay, 96 for Gonzalez Albiol. And he is done. And let's see how we are catching these guys with 2K to go. We want Petrov. Issakov's going to take over. Just keep your pushing as fast as you can up the mountain. I'm guessing Sifsy is caught behind Kikovchi, isn't he? Yes, he is. Just go auto. Auto. There you go. Okay, I have 4 riders left. Petrov is caught out behind Martin Guerrero. There is a little bit of a gap between us. We have 1K to go now. So sprint for Isakov. And this is going to give me about 3 contenders here. Petrov almost had enough in the tank to crack the top 3, but it's going to be Bernal winning the stage anyway. Carapaz, Bokonoge, Hagita, Petrov, Karaman, Martin Guerrero. 3 guys in the top 7 on this one is a very good start. Now, what sort of gaps is there going to be, though? I have no idea when and where we're going to see gaps. There is a clear gap. There's another clear gap, but it is classified as a mountain stage. So I don't know what sort of gaps will be offered, but we're in good shape here through stage number 2. Gegenhardt nowhere near the top 20, so Ineos is now going to be focused on Carapaz. I'm shocked by the presence of Bernal at this race. Didn't think he would be a La Vuelta. He's going to be a heavy favorite. 85 mountain, 80 hill, 76 acceleration, 77s on the stamina resist, and 78 on the downhill. It's going to be insane trying to keep up with him. But we get same time till 19th. Filippo Ganna gets same time. Seriously? Right. Okay. And then we see a gap. So that leaves now Carapaz and Ganna at the top. Martin Guerrero, Karaman, Isakov, and then Petrov is down in 6th. He was outside of that top 5. He was our 6th guy when we crossed that first stage. He was 14 seconds down, so that puts him at 21. And then you have Soler and Yates, who lost a little bit of time. And then it's 49 seconds, and this is what I was talking about. There was that healthy gap behind us, and now it's quite evident that there's a pretty big gap to some of these guys. Palace did well, but he's a minute 12 down. That's good. That is a good start. We're in a good position. Bernal nowhere near the top 16, even though he gained 10 seconds, and that is because his team just did not perform like we did. In fact, he's a minute and a half down. He's where Gonzalez Albiol is. So we start with a bit of an advantage. I'm happy for that one. That is going to do it for this episode, though. We've got this thing going. We've got some punchy stages coming. I'm going to have to either do those off camera or even risk the quick sim, which is going to cost us some time, but I think we might have to risk that on a couple of those stages, depending on how they kind of shape up. I might play those out if they're really fast, easy to do, but we just have such a limited time frame in what's left in this cycle that we're going to have to do what we have to do to get this content in. I don't have time for it to overlap into PCM22. I am on a very limited time frame these days. My hours, I'm busy. That's going to do it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.